All right, if you find that you're having trouble moving around in your home and you're not sure if you have any solutions other than you have to sell your home, let me tell you today we may have a solution for you. Hey y'all, today we are joined by Amy Marchant, who runs and owns a company called LivEquipt. Amy is an occupational therapist for a lot of years now. I won't say exactly how many, but what she does with her experience, her expertise, is to help people stay in their homes longer or modify homes to make them better and more accessible for people with mobility issues. So today we're going to talk to Amy a little bit about how her services can impact our clients. All right, Amy, so glad that you're here today.
Thanks.
Tell us for a minute, where did you get the idea? Where was the inspiration for starting your business?
Well, I worked in home health for over 10 years and really just found with working with people in their homes that our homes are not equipped for aging, much less significant illness or injury. And they would get home from the hospital or something and just have a really hard time getting around or no longer be able to access their bathroom, their bedroom, and became dependent on other people. So I wanted to help people to age in place and improve their home's safety and accessibility and help them to prevent falls.
I love that. All those things that most of us take for granted until we can't do them anymore, right?
Right.
So you talk about age in place. What do you mean when you say age in place?
Well, to stay at home. Often, most people want to stay at home where they've lived for 20, 30, 50 years. So if there's a way to make it more safe for them and tailor their home to their specific needs as they're aging and make it easier for them to get around, to identify any barriers or fall hazards and just make their home safer so they can live more independently and stay at home longer.
I love it. I love it. So I love the idea that you're painting the picture of modifying homes so that people can stay in their home. They're not going to be forced to sell, hopefully, just because they have some mobility issues. What are some very typical modifications that you see that you recommend a lot of times?
Of course, ramps or widening doorways, low barrier showers, grab bars, things like that. But I feel like the most underrated modification is lighting. Lighting can make such a big difference in safety in your home.
That is so surprising. I really thought, we were going to have saws and hammers and nails, but you're saying something as simple as having ample lighting or the right type of lighting can make a difference.
Exactly.
Wow. So, some of our clients certainly are in a place and they would love to not have to sell. But if somebody does need to move and they have mobility issues, maybe they have a walker or they're in a wheelchair, whether it's temporarily or permanent, they have other issues. If we're helping them buy a house, what would that look like if they were to reach out and use your company, LivEquipt?
Yeah, so often we'll go through and do a home assessment where they're at and see how they're getting around their home and identify any factors that are barriers or giving them difficulty. And like you said, if we can modify to help them stay where they're at, we do that. But often, sometimes you do need to sell and downsize and find something that's more accessible or even move in with a family member. Maybe they add an addition or something to make it easier for everyone. So we can go through the new home if they're looking to buy, or look at a family member's home where they're thinking of maybe moving in there and just figuring out what the best solution is for that individual client.
No, I love that. And I can relate that to the process as we're holding our clients' hands, walking through the process of buying a new home. We typically do an inspection period, and I would imagine that would be a great opportunity for you to come in and be able to look at the home and make some modifications. We could even bring a contractor in to help price those.
Yeah, we can look and see if there are any barriers or any modifications that need to be done before you move in. Get everything move-in ready so that when the time comes, everything's prepared and ready for you, and just make sure that it is a good long-term investment.
Good. I love it. So another question that comes to mind, Amy, is what do you find that are just common mistakes that people make when they're buying a home or if they're going to modify a home? Where are people missing the mark that you might could help them with?
Really just underestimating things like the shower threshold or smaller doorways to get into the bathroom. Just as a whole, we're not great at planning ahead. Even when we try, there are things that we don't think about and don't prepare for. So really just being able to identify, hey, this might be an issue in the future, like high shelving and your closet racks, things like that you really don't think about.
I guess, if as we go through life, we're used to things, and, if something happens that changes what we're able to do physically, our brain doesn't automatically think about how tall the shower is from the floor, how much we have to move to get in there, or reaching into the shelves. And so again, you're that fresh set of eyes, right?
Yeah, and you don't plan on getting sick or injured, and anybody can break a leg or something, and all of a sudden they have difficulty getting around their home, and they may not even be older,
Right.
It can affect anybody.
That's a good point. So Amy, again, as a realtor, at face value, are always thinking like, well, if this house doesn't fit, let's go find you a new one. But really what Brandy and I love with our clients is that we want what's best for them. And sometimes that means not moving right now. If our clients connect with you, what are some things that you might be able to do to help them stay in their current home that's probably not meeting their needs currently?
If they have multiple levels, stair lifts are a great solution. Increased doorways. There are even special hinges that can increase the width of the door to help you be able to get in easier, that don't require major modification. So there are a lot of things that can be done, but that's why I enjoy working with y'all so much, because you truly care about your clients and want to meet them where they are right now. And sometimes they're not ready to move, and you are fully support helping them to stay where they're at for as long as they want to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, just as something as simple as changing light bulbs can mean the difference, which is amazing to my mind, that something so simple can keep somebody in the home that they have and they've loved and so on. So
yeah, people are often surprised at the small solutions, how big of an impact that those can make.
Those are great points. When we talk about connecting our clients to you, there might be some fantastic opportunities that people are just unaware of, that are not necessarily that costly.
Yep.
So what advice do you have for our clients that might be having to consider taking care of maybe their elderly parents, or of a child who's had an accident? What advice would you have for them?
Well, for those caring for their parents, really just be alert for those fall hazards, rugs. If your parents are holding onto furniture and walls as they're walking, those are some red flags that they're having some difficulty. And we serve clients of all ages. So parents often, they're used to doing things a certain way. They'll pick their child up and down out of the bathtub or carry them to the car, and they're used to doing that, and that works for them right now. But their child's getting older and they're getting older, and that's not something that you can do forever. So there are better solutions out there, and that's what we do, is help you to find the right solution for you.
That's a fantastic point. I wasn't thinking about, as you and I were game planning on today, in my mind, I'm thinking all structural modifications. What it sounds to me like you're saying is, you might be in your home and be doing things, if you're taking care of a child with disabilities, doing things a certain way, and with you coming in, just teaching different techniques in order to use the same space, but maybe do things in a different way.
Right. Organizing things differently, or bringing in any adaptive equipment or devices, can really make a big difference, and just make something that was working, maybe just not well, make it easier and safer for everyone involved.
That's so helpful. Again, I think of modifications, but there's so much more than just home modifications that LivEquipt can offer.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, I love what LivEquipt can offer our community as a whole. How can people find you? How can they reach out to you?
They can give us a call at 205-530-0383, or find us on our website. It is liveequipt.com. That's LivEquipt.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We hope, as I said earlier, that this has been helpful to our community, because we care, and it's not always going to be the right time to have to buy or have to sell. And if that time does come, let us know. If you feel like you are ready to work with us in order to buy or sell, or if you have more questions for Amy, you can always reach out to us as well through text message or direct message. Text message 205-368-5995 or info@mbrownrealty.com. We're Mike and Brandy Brown with Keller Williams Realty in Birmingham, Alabama.